Yeah, so in our very last session, we have seen some of the work which is related to class. What are the different types of the argument we can pass? What are the way to initialize them, like using constructor, right? And we have seen what are the static methods, how it is different from the normal methods, like that, right?
Yeah.
We have seen the multiple examples for that, and this was your last example, which is showing for the static method. And I have given you the task. You can, instead of creating the object and then calling the method, you have to try with the class name itself with the method, right?
Yes.
And did you? Hopefully you have not tried. So as you can see, the line number 14, it is not giving you any error. So I will run it, okay, and will show you.
Yeah.
So see here, try dot hello, and I have given the argument Vikram, and before printing itself, some there was predefined hello keyword was there, so it is taking the input and it is printing, right? So it is
Yeah.
printing the output by both way, by creating the object. If you don't want, and there is no means particular work, you have to simply call the method only, right? Like this hello, then you can make the method as a static method. So which methods you are going to make the static, which method you are not going to make the static. So that, see, this hello was previously the non-static, it was working, but as per the computer, as per the Python programming language, it has only suggested us, right? So
Yeah.
there will be always suggestions from the compiler. These suggestions, it's your choice, you are going to take that suggestion or not, but the suggestions will be always given by the compiler, and that will be the standard way. Got it?
Yeah.
So what are the possible things the developers are developing, that's fine, but same time, based on the developed code, the compiler, the Python compiler will also give you the suggestions to make that code more standard, right? And it can be considered like one of the example for this static methods. Got it?
Yeah.
So two more classes for you, and it is not so much different from the previous one. It is same, okay, but here you need to see if there are any difference or not. So hopefully if you see the class definition fruit, which is having one print state as a method, which is taking one argument, okay, and it is not the static method, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, if it is static, if you point over here, it will give you that you can make this method as a static, right? And once you are making this method as a static, this self keyword was removed, right?
Yeah.
Because here you can see, this is a single method which is present inside the class. So no need to tell that this method will be directly self-present inside the fruit class, right? That is why it is giving us the suggestion. The same, whatever we have seen the example over here, it is same, but it is without non-static. Got it? And here it is saying why you are wasting your time to make this as a method directly inside the class. You can make this a static, no need to write for the self. Got it?
Yeah.
No further explanation for this one. You want me to run this one? I think it's not required, but still I will run this. And
Yeah.
hopefully you can be able to see this is the
Yeah.
right. And see one more thing, while writing the code, whenever you want to have the output like this here, the write in the single code, and if you are writing this printf statement and make sure that the printf will be always in the double quote, then you don't give the double quote for this state, right? This state variable, you don't give the double quote. Otherwise, it will give you the error. So if it is outer one is the double quote, try to make use of the single quote. Fine.
Yeah.
Last example for this one, and this is the some different example as compared to the previously what we have seen. If you look at this class itself, what it is basically doing, it is this class is the result calculation class, and it is initialized by the three different subjects: physics, chemistry, and math. as you can see from the line number 2 constructor, and there is a method to print the average of the numbers. What the numbers the student is getting, you can print the average for that, right? Physics, chemistry, math, total divided by 3, that will be the average, correct?
Yes.
So that work is done over here, and if you look at the code, it's not so much difficult. It's a very easy. See over here, it is like a class is defined, and for that particular result class, what we are doing, we are creating an instance, that is the roll number. You can give any name to this instance, the variable. Okay, and in this result, as it is asking me the 3 different values, right? So you
Yeah.
need to pass the 3 different value. Once you have passed this one, so it will be all these physics, chemistry, math will be now initialized with the value which you have passed as the argument. And where that value is stored, so it is stored, you can see in the self itself, right? Self, self, self. And one more thing, if you look over here, this example, whenever you are writing this static, right, there is no self, right? So the same times,
Yeah.
there is no need for writing any constructor for this one also. Got it? But if
Yeah.
you look over here in this code, what it is doing, this result is having one constructor, and that will initialize the value what you are going to pass. So for initialization, this constructor will be required, because basic fundamental purpose of the constructor is to initialize the values, right? So physics,
Yeah.
chemistry, and math is now initialized, and it is stored in self.physics, self.chemistry, self.math, right?
Yeah.
Now, what the value we have passed directly, that is stored into the result class physics, chemistry, right? Math.
Yeah.
So while calculating the average, if you see over here, the average is getting calculated on self.physics, self.chemistry, self.math. You cannot directly make this as the physics, chemistry, math. Why? Because that physics, chemistry, math is will be not reachable to this one. Okay.
Yeah.
See here, physics, it is not having any reference where this physics is present, right? Because this print average function, this doesn't know where is that physics variable. It will consider like it is the first time declared variable over here, right? So you need to reference this variable, right? How you will reference this one? So you will tell that this physics is present somewhere into this self class itself, and this self is initialized over here in the constructor. Got it?
Yeah.
What is the error over here? Here typo in the means it is the naming convention error. We'll ignore that one. And the very first line we are calling the method result class, and we are not calling over here the method, right? What we are calling? We are calling the result constructor only till now, right? So if you look at the line number 11, this is the call happened, right? Line number 11. Now the value initialized is stored into this roll number, right?
Yeah.
Now what you can do? This roll number object is having 3 different values: physics, chemistry, and math, right? So suppose you are the roll number object, and you are having the 3 different value. Whatever I will pass, it is going to store over here, right? So whenever I will ask Sudhir, what is the value of the physics, you will respond back, right? What is the value of the chemistry, you will respond back. What is the value of math, you will respond back, right? Because you got these 3 values, right? So this roll number now got these 3 values, right? So this is not the actual average. If you look over here, now it is what we are printing over here, roll number dot chemistry, right? Similarly, you can print roll number dot math, roll number dot not roll, it's the roll one math. Why due to coming? Okay. We can call the physics also, because this role is an object, okay, and it is having all the three different values, right? Forget about this line number 11. We are not doing further operations. We are simply printing right now, right? So if you run this example, what you will get? What will be the output?
Uh,
It will print line number 12, 13 and 14. Whatever the corresponding value for the physics, chemistry and math, it will print, right? Nothing else. See 95, 85 and 86. So it will print because these values, these, if you see 85 will be mapped to math over here, right?
yeah.
So if you call roll1.math, it will give you 85. No matter wherever you are calling in the first line, you are calling in the second line, or you are calling in the last, sequence is not matter, because it will give you the corresponding value only, right? So these are the three different value which is present in roll1 now. Okay, what you will do now, how we can call this print average? Tell me now how we can call this print average method. What could be the possible way? If any method is present in a particular class, how we are calling normally? We need to create the object of that one, and that is already created, and through that object we can call that method, right? Hello.
Yeah.
So for this, I think we have the roll1 object created, right? So what will happen if I am trying to write roll1 dot see here whether that method print average is available or not. So these are the features which is available. Init is also available. We want this one, right? Print average.
Yeah.
So roll1 is now calling the print average over here, right? So what will be the output now? Average we are getting. So what we are doing, we are simply calling over here, and after calling we are not printing, right? Because the print work is already done inside the function itself. Got it?
Yeah.
So average equal to sum of all these three value by 3, and it is printing the same. Right?
Yeah.
So hope you remember in the very second and third class you have created some calculator application, right? Now your task, as you learn this class and object concept now, what you can do, you can try one calculator example now, okay? And how it will work? So it will basically work not like the normal, you read the two value and you were simply printing in the if statement, right? If the value is operator is plus, it will give you the addition of 2. What you have to do in the same code, you need to make use of the class and object concept now. Got it?
Yeah.
Because that was without class and object, right?
We didn't mention the class and object.
Yeah, so you need to make the use of the class and object, and you need to create that calculator application. Okay, and if you have anything, any doubt, we can ask. And these were the previous example, the very first example. So these are the some of the features which is related to class. Got it? Any doubt till now in the class concept?
Okay.
Anything?
If I tried, I might get some down. I haven't done that. That's the problem.
Okay, so let me write the task for you. Rewrite calculator application using class object concept. Fine.
Yeah.
And see the basic while we were discussing about the basic concept of the functions and other things, right? We have done some of the examples. So this what you can do, write program for what purpose you will write the program. uh, Simple interest. Why I am writing interest? Why what happening to me today? Compound interest, like that you can you can take a number of the examples, right? And now what is the your approach? You need to write all the programs, whatever the programs is coming into your mind, that should be using the class and object. Got it? That is the one of the task for you. Now I'll give you some more classes for that also. Wait. Okay, so what you have to do now next, you need to create one class. Okay, create you need to create one class. That class will be known as point. Okay, class name will be point. Okay, got it? Means getting the concept. So this,
Yeah.
you need to create one class point, and it will have the two fields, x and y. It will have the two coordinates, x coordinate and y coordinate. Means you have to define one class which is having the two different value, x and y. And you can take an example for the initialization through the constructor. Okay, once you have the class is created, what next you have to do? Using this class, what you can do, you can create one object of this one. Okay, how we can create the object of this one? Point class.
Yeah.
Okay, so this coordinate is the one of the object of the point class, right?
Yeah.
Now you need to initialize. So how you will initialize? You need to pass some of the values, right? So coordinate dot x, right? You can give some 25.0. Again coordinates dot y, you can initialize with like 35.0, something like that. Okay, so this will be the two x and y location for that class, and this is how we can call this one, right? Now
Yeah.
this is the basic thing. Nothing you need to do. First you need to create only this class. Next task, what you have to do, you have to modify the same class with the name something at the area. Okay, this will be the area, will be the class. Inside that it will also have the two field, length and what?
Width.
Yeah, it will have the length and width. Okay, now what you have to do, you have to initialize through the constructor. Making use of the constructor, you need to initialize, write the code for the initialization. And in this class, first point will be the your first you have to write the constructor, right? Second thing, you need to write the method. Okay, method for printing area of circle. All this work you have done earlier, right? But that was without using class. Correct. Now you need to make use of class concept over here to work on that.
Yeah.
Why today more spelling mistakes I'm doing, I don't know. Okay, so this is another one class area. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
You have to make use of the mathematical formula and you can be able to create it. There is no, and these are the not so difficult tasks, right? It is also the same what the work we have done.
Yeah.
Now we further why I have given this point class example over here, because once you will create the point class with the two parameters, you have the constructor, forget about any of the method inside this one, right? And you have initialized, you have created an object coordinate. Let me sort it by p1. Okay, so this is the object name p1. Coordinate is a very big name. Okay, so p1 is the point and p1 dot x you have assigned, p1 dot y you have assigned, right?
Yeah.
What work you have to do into this class is that you need to create again one more example object for this point class. Okay, and what you will do by creating this again, for this also you need to assign x coordinate. Okay, same value we can give, whatever the value we have given in the p2 p1 we will give it same into the p2 also. Okay, so p1 and p2 are the two different objects which is having the same coordinate value. X is 25.0, y is 35.0. Now what you can do, you need to check whether whatever the points object you have created p1 and p2, whether, because both are having the same value, right? P1 is also having same value, p2 is also having same value. What you have to do, you have to check. Here the task starts. In this, check, you have to check it out whether p1 is equal to p2. Got this point or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because content is same and, and both are of the object of the same class with the same value. So you need to check whether p1 is equal to p2 or not. Okay, and how we can check this one, how we will check this, because this equal to will not work. Okay, so in python, for checking this one, we have the is operator. Okay, we have the one operator which is known as is. What is the use of this one? So we can write over here like the p1 is p2. Got it? If you execute this line, p1 is p2, in ideally if you write directly p1 equal to p2, it will give you the true or false, right? But in programming in the python, you need to print this one inside printf. You need to make use of this one. So how you will frame the syntax, that you can try to write it, or this is the basic example, you can write into the IDLE also, right?
Yeah.
So this one you need to check whether p1 is p2 or not. Okay, and you need to try. See, this is the first case that we have created the two different objects with the same content. Got it?
Yeah.
Object name is different and content is same, right? This is the one way to create the two different objects, right?
Yes.
So, understand this example like there is some task, okay, and you have to complete that task. Okay, the same task will be also given to your friend also, right? And he will also complete the task. Got it? So the logic or the way how you both people are completing the task will be different. Maybe same also, but it cannot be 100% same, right? Because two people will always have the two different approach, right? So
Yeah.
there will be some different approach also, but output will be same by both of you, right? Or
Yeah.
there is also possibility that if any one of you is completed the task, okay, not both, anyone, you or your friend, anyone can complete the task, what you can do, you can copy his task, right? Because both have to do the same task. Got it?
Yes.
If you copy his task, right, whatever he is written, he will send to you, or you will make the Xerox copy of that same. Okay, and if you have the two different, because you are also having output now and your friend is also having the output now, right? But in the second case, you have done the Xerox work, right? You have copied everything. So
Yeah.
in this case, output will be also same, along with whatever the content you have written into your work, that will be also same, right?
Yeah.
So this, why I am telling this example is, this is basically to demonstrate that we have two ways for creating the same object. Like this one, p1 with the same content, I will create p2 also, right? Or we can create like this one also, p2 equal to p1. Got it?
Yes.
Means p1 is already created with the some value. What I am doing, I will simply assign the content of p1 to p2. Got it?
Yeah.
So for this case also, you need to check p1 is p2. Like this is the first case you have checked, right?
Yeah.
Only the scenario over here is that here same work, but it is not copy paste, right?
Yeah.
Here it is same work with copy paste, means you are assigning the content of one object to directly to the p2, right? So everything will be same. No, if there is only some space is missing or some extra semicolon will be there, same, everything will be copied same to same, right?
Yeah.
Then you need to check whether this p1 is p2, or here also p1 is p2. Why I am telling that? Because you need to check whether it will always give you the true or false value, boolean value only, it will give you the result. If p1 is p2, got, if see the line 14, if p1 is p2 and it is giving you the output is true, okay, if both are, if executing this line giving you the output as a true, it means p1 and p2 both are the same object name at the same memory location.
Yeah.
Got it? If it is telling you p1 is p2 is false, it means two different objects are created in the memory. That is the concept I need to tell you by this example. Hopefully it's fine, right?
Yeah.
And I was explaining some of the examples, like this one. This example, our last example, we were explaining the things. Here, roll1 was the object which is created for the class result. 86, 95, and 85 as the corresponding value into the physics, chemistry, and math, right?
Yeah.
Now, you need to check whether what the value we are passing, these three value, to this constructor while creating the object, whether it can be this value, whatever you pass, whether it can be changed over here or not. Got my point?
Yeah.
Because for physics I pass 86, for chemistry I pass 95, and math 85. So this is the actual value, and it got copied directly into this one. But I want to change 86 to now 87. Whether that is possible or not. Okay. How we can check it? Over here only. Or here also. Not here, but here before using this printf. What you can do? Self.physics equal to whatever the value is there. You can increment, decrement, what the work you want to do, you can do. and then you can print the average.
Yeah.
It is possible, right?
Yes.
So that you need to try it. Okay.
After this, the class method, what else do you have class method?
This class method is the print average, right?
Yeah.
So I have given these three value only. So whatever the value I will give, it will give the copy of means the average of these three only. That is working correct, right? What I need to check whether 86 I am giving and it is getting copied in the physics. So this physics after initialization of this value over here, right? It will initialize this 86 into self.physics, right? Hello?
Yeah.
Now we need to check whether the content inside this self.physics, okay, what we are using over here, that can be modified or not.
Oh.
Before making use into the line number 8 for the addition and average, whether there is a possibility that we can increase this value. I don't want to increase from here, right? I want to do some increased work over here. We need to check it. Hope this question is clear.
Yeah.
Means we need to verify whether we can be able to modify the content or not. If it is immutable, we cannot modify, but if it is getting modified, it means that it is not immutable, it is mutable value, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, one more example I need to explain to you. We'll take an example for this point class itself. So we have one concept of the copying. Okay, we have one concept of this copying into the Python. Like how we are copying the object over here. We are in P2, we are directly copying P1, right?
Yeah.
So this is the one of the example for the copy only, right?
Yeah.
So in Python itself, we have the inbuilt method, okay, that is known as copy. That method itself is known as copy, okay. And how you will make use of this one?
Right.
How you will make use of this one? I will write one line of the piece of the code. You can see now. Copy, and what copy I want? I want the P1 copy. Like this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So one more task. If we assign P2 equal to P1, we are checking this one whether P1 and P2 both are same or not, right?
Yeah.
Again, if I am going to make use of this copy, okay, if I'm copying P1 like this one by making use of this copy, again you need to check whether this P1 is P2 or not. You will feel there are some of the differences. Okay, there may be chances that you will not get the correct means value as the true always. Okay,
Yeah.
got the point? So you need to check this one, and this copy method. Okay, this copy method is not directly coming into your programming. So what you have to do, you have to import. Remember the random method.
Yes.
So what you did first?
Random.
First you import like this one. Import random something, right? And then you are doing some work. Maybe I'm not writing the whole code, so it will give you the error. So random, like random, you were giving some value like this one. This is the how you are calling this method, right?
Yeah.
Let me write the whole code itself. Yeah, this is a syntactically mistakes. You need to check it out. But what my intention is that I need to tell how we were calling this random. Before calling this random, what we have to do? We have to import it, right?
Yeah.
So the same way, oh, it is saying it will not take any value. We'll modify it. Let's see what is happening. Something it is printing, right? It is printing single because we didn't put into some loop and other things like that. So the same thing, to make use of the any of the inbuilt method, like random is the one of the inbuilt method, right? If we have to make use of any of the inbuilt method, like again one more method that is known as copy. Okay, what you have to do? First you have to import it, and then you need to call it like this one. It will give error over here because we didn't created a point class over here, but simply I am showing you the logic. Okay,
Yeah.
forget about this error. But P1 is an object which is created by this point, right? And in P1 we were assigning some value like this one. P1 dot y, something like that. We were assigning, right?
Yeah.
Change the code, you will be able to understand it. So now P1 is an object created of the point class and which is having x and y coordinate, both are available. And we have seen an example like P2 equal to P1, right? We have already seen.
Yeah.
Now what you have to try, P3 equal to copy dot, okay, copy inside that P1. This syntax you need to check. So how many total objects you created? You created P1, you created P2 by directly assigning it, okay, and you created P3 by using the copy method, right?
Yeah.
You need to check whether these P1, P2 and P3 both all are equal or not. Okay. One more thing. Maybe suppose this copy method is working fine, okay, because we have the method, so it will work fine, right? So this P3 and P1 will have the exact same thing, right?
Yeah.
There is chances that P1, whatever you are copying, so P1 is having X, P1 is having Y, right? And suppose P1 is having Z, okay, got the point? It
Yeah.
will give you the red lines over here. It's not looking good. So suppose P3 you did like this one, copy dot copy inside P1. So this is the way you have copied it, right? Now
Yeah.
what you can do, so P1, suppose P3 and P1 both are now equal, right?
Yeah.
Because there was two x and y coordinate, you copied it perfectly, right? You are having two books, right? And your friend will make the xerox of your two books, so he will always have the same content to with him also, right?
Yeah.
Now what you can do, you have two books with you and your friends has copying the same thing, right? But you will have another one book that is not available to you right now. Suppose you forget it at your home only. Just listen this scenario. You are having two books. Your friend asks, you have given the two books, and he will ask, I need physics, chemistry notes. You will give to him, and he will copy it, right? Make the
Yeah.
xerox, everything. But you are
Yeah.
having the math also, math notebook also you are having, but that notebook is not available to you right now. Okay, it's you left it. Okay, means you are having that third point, but it is not present to you now.
Yeah.
There may be chances like that, right? So that time he will not have the control on all the three notes book because he had made the xerox of only two. One is at your home, right?
Yeah.
Maybe someone will ask, where is that third one? He will also tell, I forget it at my home. Like that, right? Means he is assuming that he is having the third things. Once he will get the time, he will make that Xerox also, and he will tell that I have the three. He didn't make the Xerox till now because you forget it, but he is assuming when he will go to your home, he will take it and make the Xerox like that. He is assuming, but he is not having that physically present to him right now. Got it?
Yeah.
So that time, it's not the total copying of the content whatever you are having, right? Your
Yeah.
friend will not have the total copying, right? He will have only two, and third one he will give the reference that I forget it, or I will bring some other day, something like that. So that is not the whole copy, right? Whole copy is not done till now. Same concept we can apply in the Python copying concept. Like we have the normal copy over it here, right?
Yeah.
One method that is known as normal copy. So that is method name itself is known as the copy, right? This is the method name. Same time we have another method which is known as deep copy. Okay. What will be the difference between this copy and deep copy? It's the same difference what the Xerox work your friend did with you. At a time two were directly two were present in your hands. So he has done the Xerox of third one, both the notebook. Third you was not having. You told that after this class I will give you, then you can have, right?
Yeah.
So you can apply over it. So copy means normal copy he did. He also the reference what you will give for the third notebook that I will give after this session. Okay, after the class, then you can do it. Means he is assuming that he will also get it, but he didn't get till now, right?
Yes.
Right. But this deep copy will do everything, whatever it is present with you, everything he will do it. Got it?
Yeah.
So instead of making the Xerox of first two and waiting for the third, this assume this deep copy like he will go with you, take the third one also, and 1, 2, 3 simultaneously he will put for the Xerox. Now everything, every three notebook you are having, he has done the copy paste. Means it is doing the deep copying, right?
Yeah.
First copy is known as shallow copying, but it is we can call this as the normally copy only. This is known as shallow copy. Okay, that is the copy. If you want everything will be contained, you are pointing to someone, someone will also point to someone. So everything will be copied if you are making use of this deep copy.
Yeah.
Exact duplicate will be present by this deep copy. Got it? Clear?
Yes.
I don't know whether these examples is relevant to you for understanding or not, but I think it's relevant, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so try this. We'll move to the next topic, which is related to the class itself, but we have some more advanced topic, which we will start from tomorrow.
Okay.